For the first time in 3 years, a postseason game was held in Pittsburgh's Three Rivers Stadium as the Steelers hosted the Denver Broncos. Pittsburgh coach Chuck Noll was all smiles, for his club posted the best record in football during the regular season. Last week, they added to the luster by thoroughly dominating the defending AFC champion Broncos. One hero was wide receiver John Stallworth, number 82, who set a playoff record with 10 catches. Most observers feel the key to Pittsburgh's resurgence has been its improved passing attack led by All-Pro quarterback Terry Bradshaw. The blonde bomber threw for 28 touchdowns this year, most in the NFL, doing it with speedy receivers like Stallworth and Lynn Swann and clutch medium-range targets like number 84, tight end Randy Grossman. But the heart of Pittsburgh's offense is still its ground game, meaning fullback Franco Harris. If Reggie Jackson is baseball's Mr. October, then Franco has to be football's Mr. December. Against the Broncos, he rushed for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. Only one man in history has ever gained 1,000 yards in playoff competition. That man is number 32, Franco Harris. Thanks to Harris's scores, the Steelers built a 16-3 lead midway in the second quarter. But then Denver came back to life when they replaced starting quarterback Craig Morton with Norris Weiss. Weiss began by hitting Jack Dalbin, number 82, at the start of the Broncos' best offensive series. This was followed by a touchdown run from number 46, Dave Preston, a score that trimmed the lead to 16-10. But Denver would not score again after this. In the last year or so, Pittsburgh's steel curtain defense had been the target of criticism. Not like the old days, some folks said, but this year such talk ended. The Steelers ranked number 1 in defense in their conference, playing with a fire and brimstone approach typical of their Super Bowl days. Against Denver's ineffectual attack, Pittsburgh's defenders were wrathful, vile, and just downright nasty. The Steel Curtain limited Denver to just 87 yards rushing and sacked their quarterbacks on 6 occasions. In one 15-minute span during the second half, Denver was unable to make a single first down. Despite this defensive domination, the game's outcome was still in doubt in the fourth quarter. The Steelers led 19-10. But needed more if they hoped to dethrone the defending champs. Then Bradshaw found Stallworth for that record-breaking 10th reception, and Pittsburgh was home free. A major reason for Stallworth's big day was that the Steelers' other receiver, Lynn Swann, was drawing multiple coverage. But after a relatively quiet afternoon, Swann then joined in the fun by catching a touchdown of his own just 33 seconds later. Swann's catch is worthy of a second look. Author of 11 touchdown receptions in 1978, Swann is too dangerous to be left with just single coverage. But even with an ardent group defending, Lynn Swann is still a very tough assignment. Some say an impossible one. The 33-10 Steeler win featured all the ingredients that has made Pittsburgh the dominant force in their conference. This week, the AFC Championship game will be played in the Steel City. Just one more reason why many feel this team is destined to return to the Super Bowl after a 2-year sabbatical. At Foxborough Stadium, the playoff ambitions of the New England Patriot defense rested on the simple premise of pressuring the broken rib backfield of the Houston Oilers into permanent bed rest. Patriot linebackers are all big and strong. Number 50, 260-pound Sam Hunt is the biggest and strongest. New England desperately wanted to contain the freewheeling style of Earl Campbell, the NFL's leading rusher. This would force Houston to pass and free an all-out blitz on their quarterback, Dan Pastorini. But what began as a series of successful sneak attacks ended abruptly in a kamikaze mission. The intentions of number 22 safety Dick Kahn were correctly read by the Oilers' offensive line, which allowed Pastorini time to find Ken Burrow. Burrow's touchdown made the score 7-0, and while Pastorini had weathered early trouble, Patriot quarterback Steve Grogan was buried under an avalanche of Oilers and his own mistakes. Grogan has innumerable skills, but a deft passing touch is not one of them. Grogan was often wild high, and on this aborted flea flicker, he threw right into the teeth of double coverage. While the Patriots wore the look of a confused and desperate team, the Oilers were confident that Earl Campbell would find a way through a defense stacked against him. Campbell gained an impressive 118 yards, but the real hero was an unheralded third-year tight end named Mike Barber, who caught 2 touchdown passes. Barber's first score was an artistic delight. The second was anything but, as Pastorini's mallard came quacking down out of the gray skies to the embarrassingly open tight end. With the score 21-0, reserve quarterback Tom Owen was shoved into a breach that was filled with Houston Oilers. Not too many teams or quarterbacks have much luck with head-on collisions with middle guard Curly Culp, number 78. But where straight-up football rarely works against the Houston Oilers, an occasional bit of mischief, like the option pass, sometimes does. Andy Johnson's 24-yard touchdown pass to Harold Jackson worked for 2 reasons. First, the fast-reacting Oilers were trapped by their pursuit. And second, Johnson, a former Georgia quarterback, threw a mean, tight spiral. Jackson's touchdown gave the Patriots a pulse rate, which began to beat a little quicker when tight end Russ Francis, number 81, turned number 19 Willie Alexander inside out for a touchdown. This was not to be the day for a miracle comeback from this talented but troubled team. They were clearly beaten 31-14 by a team that was as together on the sidelines as they were on the field. These Oilers are no Cinderella. They are simply a very good football team playing their best when it counts the most. From the moment they took the field in sun-splattered Los Angeles Coliseum, the Los Angeles Rams resolved to relegate their sad history of playoff defeats to the past. Despite a well-publicized jinx born of 4 consecutive losses to Minnesota in postseason play, the Rams were confident that they were the better team and would finally prevail. For the Vikings, ripe with old age and lacking even a semblance of a ground attack, the whole ball of wax rested on the creaking right arm of Fran Tarkenton. The Vikings didn't disappoint. The pass was their only weapon, and they didn't bother to disguise it, with Tarkenton spraying the Ram defense with passes right from the start. Of Minnesota's first 19 plays, 13 were passes. The customary short stuff, slants to Ahmad Rashad, dumps to the setbacks Chuck Foreman and Ricky Young, or outlet throws on the run. Still, the Vikings' only touchdown came at the end of the first half when Tarkenton hit Ricky Young, number 34, for 24 yards to the Los Angeles 3. 3 plays later, with 13 seconds showing, Tarkenton, eyeing the Ram defense unerringly, found Ahmad Rashad with a floater that tied the game at 10 apiece. Though they were tied at the half, it was Minnesota's hope to get ahead of the talent-laden Rams early. But they had muffed a golden opportunity in the first quarter when the Vikings special teams, as they so often do in the playoffs, made a very big play. Scott Studwell's block, which was recovered on the Los Angeles 20-yard line, gave the Vikings an excellent scoring opportunity. And what's more, implied the Viking curse was still in effect. But it quickly served to set up perhaps the most critical play of the entire afternoon, one in which the Rams' number 1 ranked defense would save the day. From the 20 on the first snap after the blocked kick, Tarkenton went for the kill, but safety Bill Simpson, number 48, picked off his second interception of the quarter, and the Minnesota threat was over. In the second half, it was all Los Angeles, led by Pat Hayden and Cullen Bryant, number 32. The Rams gained 234 yards to the Vikings' paltry 48. Bryant took over a Ram running attack that was missing its ace, Lawrence McCutcheon, and starred by gaining 100 yards. But the real hero on offense had to be Hayden, who threw for 2 touchdowns, including the backbreaker, a 27-yarder to Ron Jesse down the right sideline that put the game out of the Vikings' reach. Jesse's touchdown brought the score to 24-10, and though Los Angeles would add 10 more, it was all that was needed. Everyone in the Coliseum knew that it was the ball game. As time ran out, the substitutes, led by Jim Jodat, continued the onslaught. And once and for all, the specter of the Viking jinx was literally spiked to the ground. It was a game in which the Ram victory was as much over themselves as their opponents. A team that had endured the confusion of 3 head coaches in a single year and much intra-squad squabbling had come out on top and would face Dallas in the NFC Championship. While it marked a beginning for the Rams, this game may have signaled the end for such Viking heroes as Fran Tarkenton and Jim Marshall. But for Ram veterans like 13-year guard Tom Mack, number 65, the only thought that mattered was the Vikings' voodoo was vanquished, and the Dallas Cowboys loomed next on the rocky road to the Super Bowl. Still reeling in the wake of a heart-stopping victory over Philadelphia, Lehman Bennett's upstart Atlanta Falcons cruised into Texas Stadium, home of the world champion Dallas Cowboys. Most everyone thought Atlanta was in for real abuse. Curiously enough, the NFC playoff game was not a siesta for Dallas, but a sincere battle. As expected, Roger Staubach moved the Cowboys downfield on their first possession. Number 88, Drew Pearson's 39-yard reception highlighted the drive that resulted in a 3-0 Cowboy lead. But Atlanta's Steve Bartkowski, number 10, was quick to answer. Number 82, Billy Reichman, one of the league's smallest receivers and punt returners, stole key yardage from the Cowboys' secondary. And Bubba Bean, number 44, climaxed the drive by bolting for the score. Down 7-3, Cowboy coach Tom Landry elected to mix things up early, utilizing a fake Danny White punt to keep a Dallas drive alive. Maintaining control after White's deceptive gain, the Cowboys called on number 35, Scott Laidlaw, who ran over the right side of the Dallas offensive line for a big gain. Laidlaw has played a great deal recently due to an injury to the Cowboys' regular starting back, Robert Newhouse, and has impressed the entire Cowboy organization with his determination. His touchdown run capped the Dallas drive. Having relinquished the lead and now down by 10-7, Bartkowski faded back to see if he could do some damage through the air. When your pass protection is the league's worst and you're playing a team with a league-leading 58 sacks, the result is painful, but Atlanta managed a field goal and found themselves in control of the ball again. Number 89, Wallace Francis, had an impressive 6 catches in the game, and this most important touchdown catch put Atlanta ahead 20-13. Scoring 20 points and a half is rare for the defense-oriented Falcons, especially against the world champions. The effort certainly inspired the defense as they set their sights on Staubach. Atlanta's strategy is founded on constantly blitzing linebackers. Operating out of the shotgun, Staubach hoped to read and avoid these blitzes. However, on this occasion, Staubach failed to discern the offensive charge. He was removed from the contest with a concussion. His replacement was punter and backup signal caller Danny White, number 11, who saw limited action during the season. Inserted in this all-important NFC playoff game, White proved invaluable. Still down by 7, White's 24-yard completion to his tight end, number 89, Billy Joe Dupree, got the Cowboys close. His 2-yard flip to the ageless Jackie Smith, number 81, knotted the game at 20, and the Falcons' Bartkowski set out to do a little unknotting. Number 25, Aaron Kyle's interception snubbed Bartkowski's effort, and with 12 minutes left in the game, Dallas proved why they're champions. Again, it was Laidlaw who was called on for the tough yardage. Scoring on the next play on a 1-yard plunge, Laidlaw gave the Cowboys a 27-20 margin. And number 43, Cliff Harris, made sure the game would end that way. The Cowboys were 27-20 winners, and although the Cinderella Falcons had their dream terminated, they can be infinitely proud of their accomplishments in the 1978 season. As for Dallas, two heroes deserve recognition for their performances. Reserve back Scott Laidlaw, who ran for 2 touchdowns, and second-string quarterback Danny White, who threw for a score. The ever-provocative and entertaining Thomas Henderson and his teammates must now prepare for the NFC Championship bout with the Rams.